Welcome to this masterclass on tile and grout restoration. Today, we're leaving amateur scrubbing and guesswork completely in the dust. By the end of our time together, you're going to understand the actual molecular realities of your surfaces, and you'll possess the exact strategic framework used by elite industry professionals. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into our curriculum. We're going to move progressively through 6 key areas, starting with the science of surface materials, followed by the chemistry of cleaning, and the professional cleaning execution framework. From there, we'll tackle eradicating mold and biofilms, advanced grout sealing strategies, and finally, preventative maintenance and SOPs. Let's start at the very foundation. Module 1, the science of surface materials. Elite technicians know that you absolutely never apply a chemical without first diagnosing the physical properties of your canvas, and that starts with porosity. Think of porosity like a microscopic sponge. It's the measure of a material's empty spaces, and it dictates exactly how that material absorbs liquids, soils, and the specific chemistry you apply to it. Treating all bathroom surfaces equally, that's a fundamental, catastrophic mistake. It guarantees failure and often leads to permanent, irreversible damage. Let's look at a classic example: ceramic versus porcelain. There is a massive structural difference here. Ceramic tiles are fired at lower temperatures, so they're actually quite soft and highly porous. Because they absorb water and dirty mop water deep into their structure, they require penetrating cleaners. Porcelain, on the other hand, is refined clay fired at massive temperatures. It's incredibly dense and practically resists absorption entirely. Stains just stay on the surface. But because of its extreme hardness, porcelain requires aggressive surface degreasing and strong mechanical agitation to release dried-on soils. Moving right along to Module 2, the chemistry of cleaning. Let's talk about targeting specific soils. I really want you to internalize this actionable mental model. It's the strict rule of thumb used by professionals globally. If you're dealing with inorganic deposits, think hard water, calcium, rust, or leftover mortar, you must use an acidic cleaner, meaning it has a low pH. If you're fighting organic matter, like body oils, grease, or soap scum, you deploy an alkaline degreaser with a high pH. And for biological threats, like mold and mildew, you attack the organism's structural integrity using high pH oxidizers. And this brilliantly illustrates that point. Professional formulas are highly specific. You don't just throw dish soap at a mortar haze. You deploy a highly specific acidic detergent, like sulfuric acid. If you're dealing with extreme grease, you pivot entirely to an alkaline-based detergent. You do not guess. You match the specific chemical weapon directly to the target soil. All right, Module 3, the professional cleaning execution framework. Listen, real cleaning is a highly logical sequence. It is not a chaotic scrubbing session. You absolutely must start with dry removal, vacuuming or dry sweeping away loose debris so you don't literally create mud. Only then do you apply your targeted chemical. Let it dwell, mechanically agitate the surface, and finally perform a thorough extraction and rinse. Skip any of these steps, and you are compromising the entire operation. So, the absolutely crucial point here is step 3, dwell time. Amateurs spray a surface and immediately wipe it off. Professionals exhibit patience. You have to allow the chemistry a full 5 to 15 minutes to completely soften the buildup before you ever introduce mechanical agitation with a stiff nylon brush. Let the chemistry do the heavy lifting, not your shoulders. Module 4, eradicating molds and biofilms. This is where we take out the real threats. To truly defeat black mold, you've got to understand the fascinating and incredibly stubborn nature of biofilms. A biofilm is a highly organized layer of microorganisms that attaches to a surface and builds a self-produced protective matrix around itself. This is exactly why basic surface wiping fails entirely. You're literally just wiping the top of their shield. To win, we must use fungicidal oxidizers, like sodium hypochlorite, which is found in bleach, or borax, to completely penetrate that matrix and destroy the mold spores right at their root. But hold on, you can't just deploy bleach everywhere. Plain white cement grout can easily tolerate a diluted chlorine bleach solution, but if you have colored or epoxy grout, bleach will permanently ruin the pigment. For those colored surfaces, you must pivot to gentler agents, like 3% hydrogen peroxide or vinegar, to destroy the mold without chemically bleaching your entire installation. Which brings us to Module 5, Advanced Grout Sealing Strategies. Look, cleaning a highly porous surface perfectly but failing to seal it afterward is a 100% guarantee of rapid recontamination. You have two primary defense mechanisms here. Penetrating sealers soak directly into the porous cement-based structure of the grout, bonding with it below the surface. This protects from within while still allowing the grout to breathe. Topical sealers, on the other hand, form a visible physical barrier right on the top layer. Generally speaking, professionals prefer penetrating sealers for long-lasting, natural-looking protection. But application requires professional precision. You need to maintain wet edges, working methodically in 100 to 150 square foot sections. Apply the sealer carefully with an applicator pad or a small brush to ensure consistent coverage, making sure you aren't just flooding the tile joints. Crucially, if you're working with highly porous grout and it absorbs that first coat within a few minutes, you must apply an immediate second coat to ensure total saturation and protection. Finally, Module 6, Preventative Maintenance and SOPs. Let's protect your investment. First things first, we must eliminate catastrophic DIY mistakes. Using acidic cleaners, even basic household vinegar on natural calcium-based stones like marble, that will permanently etch and destroy the surface. Ditch the metal putty knives, they just scratch porcelain glazes. Always, always perform a final water rinse because chemical residues actually attract dirt. And never ignore underlying plumbing leaks or failing silicone. Let me be perfectly clear, no amount of scrubbing will ever fix a structural moisture problem. Instead, I want you to implement these high-value daily SOPs. Squeegee your shower walls immediately after use. Run your exhaust fan for at least 30 minutes post-shower to drive the room's moisture below 15%. Clean routinely with safe, pH-neutral formulas to avoid chemical buildup. And religiously reseal your grout lines every 12 months. These habits proactively starve mold of the moisture and food it desperately needs, drastically extending the lifespan of your installation. So, I'll leave you with this provocative question. Have you been working harder or working smarter with your tile maintenance? Professional mastery isn't about scrubbing harder. It's about thinking smarter. It's about correct material identification, precise chemistry, structured workflows, and proactive defense. You now possess the framework of an elite technician. It is time to step up and transform your surfaces. Thank you for attending this masterclass.